And we are once again live for another Meta Monday analysis. Let's dive in.
The Dark Kid.
Hello and welcome to another Meta Monday analysis. Today it is October 7th, 2019, and it's been another great weekend of gaming. We have a couple of tournaments to go through, just three of them. Nothing super major happened this weekend. However, the Basement Collective did run a team tournament that had 16 teams of 4, so that was probably the largest event this weekend. And congratulations to 40k Unfiltered. That's Tori, Tim Dietlifs, William Blackhurst, and Austin, who all came and conquered a 5-round event. So super excited about it. Welcome, one and all. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so let's dive right in. The 3 main events that we'll be looking at today, or at least there's 2. One of them is the Middle of Nowhere GT. The other one is the Basement Open Team Tournament. And then there's the Triumph, but it was a very, very small event. With like 24, so we're not really going to take a look at that. But Marines have been unleashed on the meta. How have they been doing? Hey, Martin from Dyson Decks, what's going on, brother? Oh, man. Make sure you guys check out Martin. He's like the original sponsor of the channel, and I love Martin so much because he's like a brother to me. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everything's going well. Okay, let's take a look at all this good stuffs. Let's go to global. By the way, best coast pairings and stuff. Hey, David Beckers, what's going on? Paul, Andrej, Ulfer, Nick, Martin, you guys are all rock stars. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, so Middle of Nowhere GT. Middle. Search. So the Middle of Nowhere GT had a grand total of 46 players, so a decent sized GT. It was 5 rounds. Luckily, there was only one undefeated player, which makes it a lot easier for me to deal with, which is fantastic. Our Marine Iron Hands player went 5-0, says Nick. There you go. For the team event, absolutely. Like, Space Marines are great, but they're even better when you're in a team event and you can choose and pick and choose who they decide to play against, which can be pretty fancy. So we had Brendan with Astra Militarum in first place. We had Ryan Mandrick with Adeptus Astartes in second. He had 1 tie. Kieran Howlett with Iron Hands. So that's 2 Space Marines with another tie. Logan, it's funny, the 2 Space Marine players tied each other. Wah, wah. Logan with his White Scars in 4th place. 5th place, Iron Hands. 6th place, Iron Hands. 7th place, Nurgle. Okay, let's repeat that real quick. Okay, you ready? Astra Militarum in first place. Good job. Adeptus Astartes, Iron Hands. White Scars, Iron Hands. Iron Hands, Nurgle. Fantastic, Mr. Martin McNeil. It's getting late in the afternoon over there, Martin. But I hope everything's going well in the shop. I already miss it. I already miss playing games and hanging out in the shop. Okay, so fair enough. I kind of want to take a look at all these Iron Hands lists just to give you an idea of whether or not all the Iron Hands players are playing the exact same thing or if they've sort of switched up a little bit. And they all only had 1 loss. So, yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at Daniel's list. An Iron Father Pharaohs. Now, if there's an Iron Hand list without Iron Father Pharaohs, you should all take a shot because it'd be very rare. So that would be a terrible drinking game. Tech Marine. Cool. 9 Intercessors. 5 Intercessors, 5 Intercessors. 2 5s with Stalkers and the regular Bolts. Interesting. 1 Thunderfire Cannon, Primaris Librarian, a Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought with 4 Last Cannons, a Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought with 4 Last Cannons, a Relic Leviathan Dreadnought with Storm Cannon Arrays, then a Vanguard Detachment with 2 Lieutenants, and two Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and a Relic Derrideo Dreadnought. So we have a very Dreadnought heavy list. I'm assuming as you make most of them characters, you can give them the -half damage thing. Alexander, good morning. Kyle, good morning. Take a shot then. Good morning, everybody. Martin says, how am I supposed to listen at work when Facebook keeps freezing on me? I know, man. Facebook can be silly. I always put this on the YouTube Patreon exclusive videos as well. I started recording them on the computer, so if you can't watch it live, you can watch it on the Patreon exclusive playlist as well. Every single week I started putting it on there just for you guys, because not everybody has access to Facebook. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning, Mike. Okay. So that's interesting. Very Dreadnought heavy. Let's see what Jeremy brought. Jeremy brought a Primaris Captain. Cool. A Librarian. Cool. 10 Intercessors, so 2 squads of 5. 1 squad of 5 Snipers, so a little bit different here. 1 Tech Marine. 3 Tactical War Suits. Cool. Ironfather Pharos. Relic Leviathan Dreadnought. Repulsor. 2 Repulsor Executioners. Thunderfire Cannon. Very similar, except forward pressure with the Invictor Tactical War Suits. And the Relic Dread, and then has the Executioners instead of all the other Dreadnoughts. So he's relying more on the killiness of the Dreadnoughts. And I don't think he has a Librarian. He does have a Librarian, of course. Why wouldn't you take a Librarian? Then we have Logan with White Scars. It's like, if this becomes like 5th edition, where it's like Space Marines, Space Wolves, Grey Knights. Well, time will tell. I think the Space Marines are hitting the meta like a shock, like a couple paddles, like just right to the chest. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel sometimes. So he has a Captain with basically a Smash Captain, a Librarian of Phobos armor, 5 Intercessors, 5 Intercessors, 5 Intercessors. It's funny how Intercessors have quickly replaced Tactical Marines. Like, just, they're 20 points more, we get double the wounds. It's like, Evan Slaggle, how are you? Vanguard Detachment with Kasaro Khan, like the legit Kasaro Khan. 3 Invictor Tactical War Suits. A 10-man Reaver Squad. A Chaplain with a jump pack, so a Slaplin. 3 Eliminator Squads. 1 Relic Leviathan Dreadnought. A Stalker, interesting. 2 Stalkers, interesting. So 2 Stalkers for some anti-flyer, anti-tank stuff. Relic Leviathan Dreadnought. 3 Eliminator Squads for character sniping. The Reaver Squad for some deep striking stuff. Invictor Tactical War Suits, and then some Primaris stuff. Interesting, very cool. It's a very, definitely, you're seeing a lot of elements that you're seeing in some of the up there Space Marine armies, which is, especially the Invictor Tactical War Suits, which are very aggressive, get in your face, and create disruption as well. The power of the Intercessors, good, sir. Yeah, I know. Intercessors are fantastic, I think, but it's just, they're really good. They're really, really good. Cosby says, I think Tacticals will see a resurgence with the points drop. You basically get a 5-wound heavy weapon. Yeah, of course. Unless you're a Black Templar Crusader Squad, and then you take 2 special weapons and a heavy weapon in 5. That's a cheap Devastator Squad. Okay, that's White Scars. So let's see what the 3rd place Iron Hand list had. You all taking notes? We should just call this Iron Hands 101 Flesh is Weak, you bastards. Chapter Master. Cool. The Ironstone. Primaris Lieutenant. Cool. 10 Intercessors with Stalker Bolt Rifles. That's what I would do. 5 Scouts. 5 Scouts. Invictor Warsuit. 3 Warsuits. 131 points for the Heavy Flamer, the Fragstorm Grenade Launcher, and the Stubbers. It's not bad. They're better than Ravagers because they infiltrate. They're in your face. Put high pressure on you. Thunderfire Cannon. So every single one has had a Thunderfire Cannon except for the White Scars list, it seems. And then a Supreme Command Detachment with a Librarian, a Primaris Librarian, the Iron Father, and an Astrius Super Heavy Tank. An Iron Hand Astrius. That's like that's like a repulsor executioner on steroids for, twice the points. But then if you don't kill it, it just comes back to life, which is amazing. It's actually really funny. Lots of high pressure, then a big killy tank in the back, and some characters for some mop-up support. Interesting choice. I have seen the Astrius be taken in a few armies lately. So then we had Ryan Mendrick. He drew against Kieran with his Iron Hands with the Astrius. But let's see what he had in his list, because that's Adeptus Astartes, so probably a mix of different things. I played that tank this weekend. It was brutal, says Mike. Well, yeah, maybe some people actually own it now and get to use it. Who knows? +1 save works with the Void Shields as well. Okay, Kyle. So you can give it the Void Shields +1 save, and then you can heal it up and all that good stuff. It overwatches on 5s. It counts double wounds. I could see it's like a giant. It's like a Castellan essentially. Cool, but a Marine Castellan. So this is a mixed one. Salt Within, Salt Without is the name of his list. I can already feel the salt. Battalion detachment of Iron Hands with a captain and a chaplain and a Primaris lieutenant. 5 scouts, 5 scouts, 5 scouts, and then an air wing detachment, 1, 2, 3 Stormhawk interceptors with storm cannons and missile launchers and assault cannon. Okay, so flyers, Iron Hand flyers, which are actually quite good. Then we have Iron Hands. Oh, this is an Iron Hands list. Why does it say just this is just literally Iron Hands. He just didn't put his improperly, but it is Iron Hands, legit Iron Hands. Then a Spearhead detachment with the Iron Father guy. Iron Father guy, because we all know who he is. 3 Repulsor Executioners. So 3 Repulsor Executioners, 3 Stormhawk Interceptors, 15 Scouts, 1 Lieutenant, 1 Chaplain, 1 Captain. And that's it. And that is it. Bartos, how are you? That's gross. So that's Iron Hands, White Scars, Iron Hands. So in the top 10, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 Iron Hands. You better start getting ready to put some killing Space Marine stuff in your lists. Just saying. And then Brendan, with his Astra Militarum, was running an Assassin. Cool. The Pokeball Assassin. He was also running Vigilus Defiant Tank Company with Pask, Plasma Cannons, and an Executioner Plasma Cannon. A Tank Commander with a Executioner Plasma Cannon. A Tank Commander with the Hammer of Sunderance. So lots of Marine killing. I wonder why. 8 Guardsmen with a Grenade Launcher. 8 Guardsmen with a Grenade Launcher. 10 Guardsmen, with a Grenade Launcher. And then we had an Astropath. Then we had Acadian Detachment of Emperor's Wrath Artillery Company. Company Commander. 10 more Infantry, Grenade Launcher, 10 more Infantry, Grenade Launcher, 10 more Infantry, Grenade Launcher. Cool, that makes sense. 2 Basilisks, 2 Wyverns, and then a Battalion Detachment, Regimental Doctrine Cadrian, with 2 Primaris Psychers and another Tank Commander. And then 10 Infantry, Grenade Launcher, 10 Infantry, nothing, 10 Infantry, nothing. 9 Mortars. So this is a pretty standard Astra Militarum list. And it's very similar to what Brendan Grant was running early in the season, but it's cool to see that this list still has some punch to it. Can't wait to bring my Iron Hands to a GT, says Kyle. Pete, Tori Petey. Hello, Tori Pete. Welcome, congratulations on your team win. It was fantastic. Joseph Blackett, welcome. Surge of Orc Tractor Cannons start blowing out repulsors. Oh yeah, there's lots of ways to kill them. You just have to kill them is the big thing. But this has 9 mortars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so 90 guardsmen, 4 tank commanders, 3 like psychers for psychic support, 2 basses, 2 wyverns to like mop up stuff, and company commanders and stuff to give orders and whatever. So this is the kind of Astra Militarum list I would play if I had a chance to play Astra Militarum. Irvin Armitage, hey, how's it going? Congrats on a great event this weekend. Cool. That is the middle of nowhere GT with a bazillion Space Marines taking the top spots. Okay, let's go to the basement. The basement open team tournament. We'll go to the placings. Player placings. Okay, so congratulations to 40k Unfiltered for coming in first. Then 40k Semi-Pro second, and Bloodbath and Beyond for third. And then Northern Defenders at the end. But congrats. We do have some player placings. Now, the thing about player placings, it's a little hard to kind of deal with those because you get to kind of mix and match pairings, and you're always trying to get a good pairing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the lists in the winning, sort of like the winning teams, just so you can see, and we can talk about some of the cool stuff that those lists are doing in the meta right now, which I think is unfiltered. Perfect. So we have Tori. You were playing Drukhari. William was playing Imperium. I played against his list. I practiced. It was a Castellan, a couple of Crusaders, and Cult Mechanicus. I tabled him. But that's beside the point. I was using my new anti-tank Drukhari list. Austin was playing Adeptus Astartes, so I'm assuming Iron Hands, and Tim was playing Eldari. Cool. So let's go into Tim's list. Tim was playing Eldari and Harlequins. So he had a battalion detachment of Uthway with Eldrad, who is a tank, by the way. He had a Warlock, 40 Guardian Defenders with double cannons, so big blocks of Guardians, and 8 Storm Guardians for the troops. That was the first battalion. Very simple, very straightforward. Lots of board control. The Guardians don't die quickly to shooting because they can be protected, right? And then they basically have their shield or whatever, so they can have a 3-up invulnerable save for shooting and a 5-up feel no pain. Makes them very durable. Eldrad can also make them fearless as well. Then he had another battalion detachment of Harlequins with the Frozen Stars, which was a Shadow Seer, a Troop Master, 12 guys with 12 kisses, 5 guys and 5 guys, so basic, and then a Solitaire that can go around killing things. Frozen Stars is really good. They get a stratagem, it's +1 in combat to wound infantry, which is pretty neat. They can go into infantry to shred them. Then we had an Outrider detachment of Harlequins, Dreaming Shadows, which is my favorite. We had a Shadow Seer, a Death Jester. Of course, he can have Curtain Fold as his relic. And then 12 Skyweavers and 3 units of 4. So he added some anti-tank Haywire in there, as well as some mobility to his list. So it's got a good punchy element with the Harlequins and the Solitaire. It's got good board control with the Guardian Defenders, lots of psychic support, and anti-tank. And of course, the Skyweavers can be used as some like tie-up support as well. He kept them all really cheap with Star Bowlers. Did not take anything else. But his list, I heard, did relatively decent this weekend. And it's geared to deal with a variety of different tactical challenges as well. Austin took Adeptus Astartes, and he was running Ultramarines. Okay, so Ultramarines. He was running a battalion detachment with a captain in Phobos armor, Chaplain Cassius. He's really cool because he gets 2 litanies. Hello, Gunner. How are you? Nice to see you. Okay. And then he had a Librarian. He had an Intercessor Squad. That was 8 of them. Then a Scout Squad and a Scout Squad. Little squads. And then an Aggressor Squad. Just 3 aggressors. Then 8 Stern Guard veterans. Interesting choice. Who the heck takes Stern Guard veterans? Leviathan Dreadnought, Thunderfire Cannon, then a battalion detachment of Ultramarines with a captain, Primaris Lieutenant, Scouts, Leviathan Dreadnought, Contemptus Mortis Dreadnought with autocannons. So 2 Levy Dreads, a Thunderfire Cannon, a bunch of Scouts, Intercessors. Seems to me like a very off-meta list. Not necessarily a list that's terribly meta, if you were to ask me. Interesting, to say the least. Iron Hands wasn't available for this tourney, says Mike Crosby. Well, that would make sense. If not, I guess they would be Iron Hands. But I'm surprised I didn't see, like, any special characters in there. You know, like, it's just a bunch of just captains and stuff. Where's Marinius Calgar or, you know, Gulliman himself, right? Those are the guys that do most of the work, I believe. Then we had Billy's list, William Blackhurst's list. So good job on him. He was playing Adeptus Mechanicus and Knights. So he had a Graia Battalion. They're great for the anti-psyker stratagem, essentially. And they can not yield, so their guys are tough to kill sometimes. With a Tech Priest, and 15 Rangers. And then he had a super heavy Crast detachment with a Helverin, a Crusader, and a Crusader, both with Gatling cannons and rapid-fire battle cannons. And then in the super heavy auxiliary detachment, one Raven Castellan. One Raven Castellan, still the boogeyman, still incredibly good for 700 points. And I hope they see a resurgence, because with all these like repulsor executioners, I just hope Castellans come back so they just murder all these tanks that are showing up in the meta right now. And last but not least, Tori. Tori is running his drukhari. He's been playing the same sort of list for, like, I want to say at least a year now. And he's become really good at playing it. And it's very similar to the list. Like, it's got the Coven stuff, which are just incredibly tough. So you have a battalion detachment with 2 Homunculus, 15 Racks, 8 Grotesques, and then 3, 6, 7 Talus. So 3 Talus, 3 Talus, 1 Talus. And a Spearhead detachment of Blackheart with an Archon and 3 Ravagers. And then a Airwing detachment of 3 Razor Wing Jet Fighters. So it's pretty straightforward. That's it. Battalion, Ravagers, Razor Wing Jet Fighters, and 7 Talus, because why the heck not? Talus is still incredibly strong. Then we have 40k semi-pro. They came in 2nd place. They were probably the next best team. And they have some names that I remember, that I recognize: Ricky, Chris, Riley, and Ron, which are all pretty cool. Ricky was playing Azuriani. Chris was playing Astra Militarum. Riley was playing his Tau Empire, and Ron was playing his Eldari. So a good combination of things, but Tau is definitely something that I would have expected Ricky to play, but there you go. So Ricky was playing Azuriani, and he was playing a Farseer. This is a Latok battalion. Farseer Warlock on foot. 4 Dire Avengers, 4 Dire Avengers, 4 Dire Avengers with an Exarch in each squad, so 5 in each. 6 Howling Banshees. 6 Dark Reapers with a Tempest Launcher, 2 Hemlocks, and 3 Wave Serpents. So very hard to kill little elite army. Howling Banshees are great for anti-Overwatch denial. The Dark Reapers are still amazing. Dark Reapers are still great. I feel with the advent of Marines, Dark Reapers will start coming back into the forefront, because they will mow down Primaris intercessors. They will mow down like pretty much anything. It's pretty cool. Then we have an Autarch Skyrunner in a Latok battalion with a Laser Lance and the Phoenix Gem. An Avatar of Cain, because why not? 5 more Dire Avengers, and then 5 Rangers and 5 Rangers. So that's it. 2 Flyers, 3 Wave Serpents, an Avatar, and a bunch of stuff inside of these things. This is a very technical list, but I'm not surprised. You know, Ricky would definitely play a very technical Eldari list. So there's like, the strength doesn't just jump out at you instantly. You have to milk the strength out of the list. I love lists like that. And Ricky's one of the guys that was like my mecha back in the day. Like, trying to beat him was like the thing that kind of put you on the map. Aiden, welcome to the chat. Then we had Chris Mollink with his Astra Militarum. I always like his armies all corn converted. It's really cool. Brigade detachment of catechins with a Pokeball assassin. Company commander and Iron Hand Strachan, so 2 HQs there. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 units of 10 guardsmen. Right. Oh, and a Primaris Psyker for the 3rd HQ. 8 Bulgrin, 1 Astropath, and 1 Ministorum Priest. So the Astropath, so another psychic support. The Bulgrin for the bully unit, of course, and the Ministorum Priest for all the extra attacks. You have 3 Scout Sentinels for your fast attack slots with heavy flamers, because they can move up and flame some stuff. And then 9 Mortars. This is a pretty standard brigade of guard. Bulgrin, guardsmen that block up into units. Strachan and the priest to give them extra attacks. You know, all the commanders in there to give orders and stuff for double attacking and whatnot is a very, very strong Astrometaron list. And then a Supreme Command detachment of Cadians with the Emperor's Fist Tank Company. So we have Knight Commander Pask with a Las Cannon and a Battle Cannon. A Tank Commander with a Battle Cannon and Heavy Bolters and a Las Cannon. Another Tank Commander with Heavy Bolters and a Punisher Gatling Cannon. And another Tank Commander with a Heavy Bolter, Plasma Cannon, Plasma Cannons. So 4 Tank Commanders behind just a massive bodies. You know, I would definitely not want to play that. That would be terrifying. Hello, Tyler. How are you? Then we had Riley's Tau Empire. Now, as you know, there are like 3 main Tau Empire style lists. You've got some that have all the broadsides, and then you have some that have all the riptides, and then you have some that have a mix, and then you have some that have all the fire warriors, and then all the tanks. So like a Devon Swan style list. So this list is a Tau Sept battalion with Shadow Sun for the double Kauyon or Mondka Kauyon, a Dark Strider to be able to fall back and still shoot, a Cadre Fireblade for a well-placed Markerlight, 15 Fire Warriors in 3 squads of 5. Pretty standard Tau stuff right there. 3 stealth suits. 4 stealth suits. That's out of the norm, but knowing Riley, it's got a purpose because he's a sneaky git when it comes to playing the game. 6 tactical drones, shield drones, 6 shield drones, 6 shield drones, so 18 shield drones. Then we have another Tau Outrider detachment with a Cold Star Commander with 4 Fusion Blasters. That guy's pretty straightforward. Zoom him out the board, snipe something, or murder something. 4 Pathfinder, so a Pathfinder unit with a Grav Inhibitor drone and 2 shield drones. Another Pathfinder unit with Grav Inhibitor drone, 2 shield drones. Oh, and they all have... 2 of the Pathfinder units have 3 Ion Rifles. Cool. But they're Tau, so they're probably there to put a wound on something and then get +1 to wound. And then a Vanguard detachment of Tau with a commander in an Enforcer's suit with 4 cyclic Ion Blasters. And then 3 Riptides with velocity trackers, targeting systems, and burst cannons. The advanced targeting system, I think, is the move and shoot without penalty. Interesting. Or ATS, is that the -1 save? It's one or the other. But he's got the velocity trackers, which, as a Dark Eldar player, terrifies the hell out of me. Pretty standard stuff. You know, the stealth suits are definitely the off-ball choice. But you know, if you're trying to stop somebody from infiltrating up on you or something with like Invictor tactical war suits or whatever, like it's good to have something you can screen out with. Then we had Ron with his Eldari, but it's a combined Eldari because Ricky had a full like Azuriani list. We have Harlequin's Dark Eldar used. So 1 Harlequin battalion, the Soaring Spite Mask, with a Shadow Seer and a Troop Master, and then 3 units of 5 troops with fusion pistols inside of Star Weavers because they can advance and shoot essentially. So it makes them very, very mobile with their little fusion pistol guns. And 6 Sky Weavers with Haywire Cannons and Zephyr Glaives. So just running up and murdering stuff. Very cool. Then a Dark Eldar battalion, Cabal of the Flayed Skull. Interesting that he decided to go without a Vect. 2 Archons with Husk Blades, and then 5 Cabalites, 5 Cabalites, 5 Cabalites, and then 2 Ravagers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Venoms, 6 Venoms, 5 Venoms. So 5 Venoms with double cannons, 2 Ravagers, 15 Cabalite Warriors, 2 Archons, then 3 Star Weavers, and 6 bikes. So you don't have a lot of drops here. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 10, 11. 11 drops. It's actually not bad. So you can potentially get the +1 to go first and then jump on people with a bunch of fast-moving anti-tank in the form of the Harlequins, and then a whole bunch of fast-moving anti-infantry in the Dark Eldar. So you have like the best of both worlds. And that was the list that came in second place. So congratulations to both of them. They did fantastically. As it is now tradition, I put a post up where you, the Patreons, can ask questions when it comes to all this good stuff. So I'm going to get to the post here. Meta Monday analysis questions. We've got a couple of questions on the Facebook page and then some on the Discord chat. Is everything terrible now that Space Marines are good, says Kyle. No. Everything is not terrible. Space Marines are good. They have no correlation whatsoever. You know, things that used to be considered terrible might actually be good now because they're the one thing that can deal against Space Marines. So, I have answered your question. David Beckers asks, how are Chaos Knights at the moment in this meta? So, I can only tell you from what I have seen. Chaos Knights seem to be in a position where they are sort of like a supporting role. So like they're not the main actor in the movie, they're a supporting role actor. And unlike Knights, where we're seeing main Knight armies, we haven't really seen any main Chaos Knight armies. Is it a matter of time? Maybe. You know, every army knows how to kill a Knight. So that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of Chaos players haven't transitioned into all Knights with supporting characters or supporting units. What they're doing is a Chaos army with supporting Knights. So can they add a lot to a Chaos army? I believe so, especially the Iconoclast Knights, because they're more of a toolkit character. They are toolkits. But we're yet to see it. Who knows? Maybe we can see an army of, you know, two different, like an Iconoclast and a Infernal Household mix of Knights that can just run in and do a lot of damage. So who knows? Like, keep your eyes and ears open. The internet says it is so bad. Kyle, the internet's the internet. Keyboard warriors will say a whole bunch of stuff. People just have to adapt and overcome and be okay with change. And if it's bad, you know, enough, GW will grab the big Nerf gun and go, okay, we made enough money off this. And then that's that. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's go over to the Discord. Okay, best units, weapons to go after aggressors, inceptors with their toughness 5 and 3 wounds. I want to say Dark Angels plasma cannons. Yep. Adeptus Mechanicus plasma cannons with special extra damage. So that's 3 damage a pop. A Solitaire with Kegarax Rose, which is 3 damage in close combat as well. Hello, Ian Jenkins. Welcome, welcome. David Beckers, I'll get to your follow-up question in a second. I still think Disintegrators are fantastic, even with transhuman physiology. It's like one of the best weapons we have to kill Space Marines. Might take 2 to kill 1, you know, but still, it's still worth it. They come in squads of 5, so just focus your fire, or come in squads of 6. I think Centurions are up there as well in terms of trying to kill them. They're really nasty, so we'll see. But those are the best weapons. Plasma cannons and in close combat, like Thunder Hammers, things that are 3 damage, essentially. So you can just knock them, knock them, knock them, and that's it. Tyranid Exocrines with the strat for +1 damage. There you go, Mike Cosby. That's a good one. They do 3 damage as well with their plasma cannon guns. So anything like that, like things that are off-brand, really, I feel will do great. Like you've got the tank commander with the relic battle cannon that has 3 damage battle cannon. So that can kill a whole squad in 1 turn of shooting if you kill him. The other option, as Kyle says, is mass fire. Heavy bolters like strength 5 AP -1 are going to be fantastic. Assault cannon, strength 6 -1 AP. Anything that's just 1 damage, high rate of fire, and has some form of armor piercing. Shredders would be really good, like mass Dark Eldar shredders, for example. Anything that does mortal wounds as well. Psychic powers, So there's lots of ways to kill them as well. Armigers. There you go. Nick says armigers. Yeah, the 3 damage autocannon shots, right? Any one they fail, boop, dead guy, right? So that can be really useful. Marauder Mitch has a question. He says, what changes do you see in Inari? But when? When am I going to see the changes, Mitch? Do I think they're going to change anything? No. I think they're just reprinting the Inari rules and putting them in the new Psychic Awakening set. So there's a different place to get them, not just the White Dwarf. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to change anything. Archon Prankster. Is the Inari competitive in its current state? Semi-competitive. They need to be mixed to really be useful. But there's certain units, like Witches, Hellions, the Razewing Flocks, that do really well as Inari, as well as things like Autarch character. Like any killy close combat character is fantastic as Inari. Do you see viability in the Inari in the future? Yes, as people right now, monofaction is starting to become really strong, but we're seeing little Inari and Harlequin elements and other Eldari elements mixing themselves into the meta of different armies, and I can see that being very important. How would you incorporate Inari into competitive matches? I would take them as a supporting detachment. There's 2 ways I would do it. One, I would take a Dark Eldar Drukhari detachment with a lot of witches and beasts and stuff like that I can basically put a horde of bodies as screens. The other would be as a Supreme Command detachment, which is something we've seen more commonly with a Incarn, and then things like Autarchs on jet bikes that basically are hard to kill and can really go in and snipe enemy characters and things like that in close combat, get killed, stand back up, get out of dodge, that sort of stuff, and kill tanks as well. David and Cody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully that answers your questions, Prankster. Wanna be Moy. What little or major tweaks do you think Inari need to be competitively viable given their current mechanics? Maybe a little focus on some shooting. They made them very close combat oriented, and anything that's really close combat oriented sometimes has a hard time competing in the current meta. They'd require, like, yes, they can tap into like the Dark Eldar shooting or the Eldar shooting or whatever, but a lot of their strats and their whole core mechanic, like soul burst actions and things like that, only help in close combat. So they're missing out. They have decent psychic support, right? They've got good close combat, but then in that shooting capacity, it's like void and barren. And as the meta is right now, you need stuff that shoots. So with their rules, you want to build an army that's close combat based, but you still need shooting. So something that would kind of incentivize taking some shooting, like soul burst shooting actions, like +1 to hit with shooting, or can move and shoot without penalty if you kill something or whatever, like that. Like get them to do that as well. So no problem, Alexander. Okay, Marauder Mitch has another question. He says, what is the state of plumbers in Ontario? Do you find them competitive or overpriced? Oh, definitely overpriced. So overpriced. Like gouging my eyes out, wanting to like take all my money overpriced. The Meat Shield, Dan, says, do you see a resurgence in Dark Reapers and Shining Spears to deal with Marines? Didn't I just talked about that? Happening? Are they still a bit expensive points wise compared to other options? So they are definitely going to. I feel you're going to see a resurgence. Depending on what happens in the Psychic Awakening, things like Howling Banshees and what we'll see, kind of like how that influences what's going on. Like this new Eldar versus Dark Eldar box set is going to have apparently sort of like some rules to essentially build your own craft world. So we'll kind of see if they're like anything like the marine ones. I could see people going, "Ooh, that's cool, and kind of building their own really cool mechanics. And within those mechanics, I think Dark Reapers and Shining Spears are going to be good in the current meta. You're going to need multiple damage guns to deal with things like tanks, but also intercessors and Primaris Marines and things like that. And Dark Reapers fit the bill. They're, even though they're expensive, they just fix that problem for you. And if you can use Fire and Fade effectively, you can keep them alive with psychic powers against out of line of sight shooting. Like, they're pretty durable when they're in cover. They're fortuned. They have, you know, all these saves on them. They're concealed. They're fortuned. They, you know, that sort of thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them come back. So thank you for your question, the Meat Shield. Monte says, this may just be something unknown, but why did that one GT this weekend seem to escape S Marine dominance on a single Space Marine in the SOP 4? What GT? Because we went over two big events, and I didn't really see any other GTs, unless it was like a Scottish or European one, which wasn't on Best Coast pairings. If it wasn't on Best Coast pairings, I sadly don't have access to them. But please, if you watch this, let me know which one, and then send me the list, and I'll talk about it. But what I feel is that a lot of the people in Europe, well, there's a lot of people in the competitive scene that are playtesters, so they kind of know how things work, and they basically build lists that can accurately play against lists that we're seeing dominate the meta in other places. Plus, they play lists like 18 smash guns and tractor cannons and stuff, and that sort of stuff will just murder all the Space Marine tanks. Mike Cosby asks, general thoughts on how custom drukhari traits will impact the meta compared to how little custom chapter traits have not. May impact. I know it's a prediction. Yes, I agree, Mike. Mike, there are definitely a lot of things that kind of influence that. Hey, Bo, how's it going? A lot of things that influence that sort of thing. So we'll see. Honestly, who knows? For all we know, they're just reprinting the Cabal, Coven, and other stuff. They're just reprinting it, and it's not going to change at all. So I saw that there would be rules for new craftable attributes, but I didn't see. I don't know if there was a mention of Dark Eldar stuff. I will reserve judgment until I see more information. I don't like splurting out stuff without really knowing what's going on. Okay, well, that is that, folks. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate it. This has been your Meta Monday analysis with me, Skari, your grateful host. Just want to say thank you for your continued support on Patreon. Thanks a lot. If you'd like to support the channel even further, just make sure you share the Patreon page with some friends, and maybe we can get some more folks over here. My next goal is to get a better streaming camera set up so that the main camera stuff isn't so blurry and it increases the sound quality when we're doing streams. So that's like my next biggest goal. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with Just Put Paint on It. Other than that, I've been Skari, your grateful host, and you have been a wonderful crowd. Bye, everybody.